Hello, everyone. My name's Christiana Davidson. I'm a psychotherapist and a hypnotherapist, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel that covers all things to do with growing up in a dysfunctional family system, be that narcissistic or borderline or both. And today, the topic that we're focusing on kind of comes out of the video I posted yesterday about borderline and narcissistic mothers and some of the key differences. Today, we're zooming in now to the borderline mother in particular. So, if this is your experience, hopefully, this may clarify a bit further for you or give voice perhaps to your experience a little more. So, the title today is The Borderline Mother, Her Demand is Your Command. And when I think of the borderline mother, BPD, the D always for me sort of is a symbol of that word demand. The borderline demands from her children. So children of borderline mothers, borderline personality disordered mothers, are raised to feel obligated to their mothers forever. These mothers believe that they are entitled, absolutely entitled, to make demands and have them met as highest priority by their children, whatever the age of their children are, whether that's young children or adults. They demand not just support, attention, help, praise, affirmation, etc. They demand your support. They demand your attention. They demand your help. They demand your praise. They demand your affirmation, your gifts, your everything. It's not just anyone's support, it's yours that they're after. That's what they feel entitled to. And their demands are endless. As a child, sometimes you may have been able to just about meet a demand, maybe momentarily, and get a little sense of love or affirmation as a result. But more often than not, these moments were short-lived and was suddenly replaced out of nowhere with disappointment that you'd somehow failed to deliver enough for your mother, or you'd failed to make her happy. What you'd suggested didn't help. She's been left unsoothed, unsatisfied with you. And thus, children with borderline mothers grow up with this deep, deep sense of feeling the following: inadequate, like a disappointment, helpless, and like an imposter in some ways, that they have to put on a fake act of knowing how to meet their mother's needs. So they're always feeling like they have to put on sort of a fake identity in order to be lovable. However, it also sets up this framework with the borderline mother where the child becomes the cause of the mother's dysregulation. It's the child's fault. The child is the cause of the unhappiness of the mother, of her rage, and it makes her the victim of the child's inadequacy, the child's selfishness, of not jumping to her demands. It's the child's fault for her dysregulation and her unhappiness. So anytime the child shows signs of separating from her, the borderline mother sees this as highly selfish. How How could this child, her child, want to separate from her, not want her to be the focus of their lives? And she will usually rage as a result or react from the vantage point that you are abandoning her after all she's done, just in order to suit yourself, be selfish, because you don't love her, even after all she's had to go through. So guilt is a major factor here. You can hear it. She will test your commitment to her too, over and over again. She won't be reasonable, but she'll ask you to go out of your way on purpose to force you to pander to her need. She demands you to make that effort, to make the effort for her, and to care for her above all else, even yourself. She may suggest something to you, maybe you meet up somewhere or to do something. And then if you make a sort of a counter suggestion, like, oh, I wonder, could we meet here instead? Because it's a bit far for me to go all that way. How about we meet halfway? She will likely sulk and may react with something totally disproportionate and sometimes even hurtful. Like, oh goodness, why can't you just be like other sons or daughters? Or why are you so difficult? Or don't be like that. Or, oh, I wish I had married my Greek boyfriend. Life would have been so much different with people who actually care for me. So here we get that word demand again, demanding that you keep her needs as the center focus, that her needs are your command. And also, once more, then, you are the perpetrator, you are the predator, she's the victim of your selfishness. And why? Because you've had the audacity to simply state your own needs and demonstrate a sort of independence from her. But also, you're showing her that your needs are important to you and that you value them above hers. And that's not going to go down very well. She'll punish you. And this whole system, this whole toxic way of relating, this is emotional abuse. It's manipulation. It's abusive. Whether it's not always premeditated. This is reactionary in the moment. But the borderline mother almost sets up these scenarios to test you, and then she'll react in some unpredictable way. Likewise, her demand for your life plays out in the relationships you have with friends, partners, etc. She sees these as a threat. Anybody else who has the potential to take your attention away from her, excuse me, is a big threat. And she demands that she be the most important person in your life. That is it. She must be the most important person in your life, or else you're being selfish. These types of mothers will often criticize friends, partners, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever. They might mock them, they might discredit them, because really what they want is you all to themselves. She wants you all for herself. That's all. She just wants you for herself, you and her together forever. The key is, if you don't give these mothers exactly what they want, which is you all to themselves, they will rage, either out loud or silently, and then punish in words and deeds. But she will feel justified in doing this. She'll feel that she's being abused by you and that she's right to be feeling this way. The borderline parent tends to lack self-insight, although they are capable of it. They believe they are actually an excellent mother, but it's, you know, the thing is, she's an excellent mother, but she's got such inadequate children, ungrateful, selfish children. So from the youngest of days, the boundaries between you and your borderline mother are blurred. You are set up in both a parentified role, but also in an infantilized role. Sometimes she wants you as the parent, sometimes she wants you as a needy, desperate child, because that puts her back in the role of mother, and you're dependent on her, and she has control over you in that sense. Other times she needs you to step in and be her parent, be her mother, soothe her, nurture her, validate her, all the rest of it. So she wants you to be forever a child parent. She wants you to stay as a child, but also be a parent, so that you won't separate from her, because she needs you desperately. She desperately needs this connection with you. It's her lifeline. And without it, she faces tremendous pain and abandonment and low emptiness that she doesn't want to feel. So she will try to suggest things that will make you not believe you can be married, or will lower your self-esteem, perhaps, that you couldn't be in a relationship. She may try to spoil your chances, somehow hold you back from it, you know, so that you won't ever go off and have a family of your own. She wants you to run all your decision making by her. She wants you to tell her everything about you, your private life, your work life. She needs to know all about it so that she can maintain control. And this really has a significant impact, because, you know, as adults, you may find that it's difficult for you to make decisions without sort of becoming childlike with somebody else and saying, well, what should I do? I don't know. Can you tell me what to do? So we almost go into this childlike role at times, and we're seeking out a parent, even as adults. The borderline mother is highly unpredictable too, and the slightest thing may trigger her to react. So it's very stressful. She draws you towards her one minute and then she rejects you the next, and it's so confusing, and it causes CPTSD. Of course it does. It's a, you know, unstable, chaotic fight or flight situation. She may threaten to harm herself if you don't center your life around her, if you leave, or she may have illnesses, all in order to impede your focus on your own life. She demands information, like I said, about your life, your friends, your lovers, and like a good child, when you're growing up, you give her access to everything. Thinking that this, you know, knowing that this is what she wants, and that's what you want to do as a child. You want to give your mother what she needs from you. But this is highly detrimental, as it creates a neediness in you for affirmation from others, and a tendency to just drop boundaries in relationships and open up to being used. in order to feel lovable, that your information is here just for others to take and use as they wish, that you know that you have no protection. And so it's important in the healing then is to begin holding back on sharing information, or just, blurting everything out. You may even find that as an adult, you end up acting as a needy child sometimes, believing that this makes you lovable because your borderline mother liked it when you were a little needy child, dependent on her. That's what fostered the bond between you and her, was that you needed her desperately and she needed you. Or you may also find yourself in the caregiver parent role. And you may oscillate between those two, still replaying that role of childhood. 1 minute infant, 1 minute parent, forever caught in that on-offness of the borderline mother. Okay, last few things here. It's turning into quite a long video today, but you may believe, now this is some of the symptoms continued here, you may believe you are too much emotionally for others, and that your needs are unlovable, they're a burden, they're shameful, and it's what will get you rejected by others, and that they're selfish. Every time you do something for yourself, it's a selfish thing. Or every time you respond to a need of your own above somebody else's, you feel like you're being selfish, and you're not. In fact, the healing is to become a bit more selfish. You have a desire to be seen and heard because you never have been. You learn to be a dependent child, and so we need to step out of being in that dependent child act. You learned that to show others you need them, that you can't cope, makes you lovable and gets you some love back. So we need to start fostering a sense of a strong, healthy ego and relying on ourselves and stepping up and facing life with all its challenges, and being independent. You learned not to be assertive and to abandon yourself in order to respond to others' emotional ups and downs. So there's a tendency there to let others' emotional reactions be your guide to how you should behave. Your borderline mother became God over your life, over your emotions, and you survived by believing you had the power to be what she needed, to control and handle her. And it was via this ability that you believe that you had to become what others need, to attune to that, to predict the needs ahead of time even. This became your superpower of sort of merging into another's needs. But ultimately, this superpower made you super powerless. So what we need to do, only a few here of suggestions, is number one, build up the connection with you, to, you with you within. Number two, we need to really help you to connect with your needs. But not only that, but also to predict your needs in advance, and to care for yourself, care for those needs. We also need to get you to have dates in your calendar and in your time schedule that is yours, and that you don't abandon when somebody else asks something of you. So you're able to obviously be a little flexible at times, but this to sort of protect your structure, your life, over the demands of others. Something simple like that can have a profound empowering effect, actually. And then also to build up the courage to just make decisions, go for it, without checking with 100 different people. To trust yourself, to trust your gut. And that's a lot of the work that I do with clients on the subconscious, is reconnecting you with your gut instinct. So powerful. Okay, everybody, thank you for being here today. I hope that was helpful. I'm going to do the narcissistic mother tomorrow now, so that we get a clearer understanding of her dysfunction. Take care, everybody. Bye.